So I like to relate CS and basketball because I love both sports and I think it can be fun to compare them. Recently in basketball, been this conversation about ethical hoops. I think we can kind of break that down into a measure of how people perceive a player scores without the help of free throws. New NBA rules mean that some fans see certain players as foul baiters or floppers who manage to rack up a lot of points across a game by getting fouled and going to the baseline. So that isn't to say that these players don't have other talents. They're all in the league for a reason. But when a guy is at the free throw line all the time, how fun can it be to watch them? I think the same concepts can apply to CS when it comes to watching certain players. For a long time, we had players who were considered AWPer only, for example, and they found it difficult to find impact when rifling on a weaker buy. I actually had the idea for this video while I was watching the most recent Falcons game at Cologne versus Furia. I say watching, honestly I was just hate watching Kyosuke. I'm not going to get deep into why I don't like him, but it boils down to a certain ancient clip, and because I don't want every supposed prodigy to be successful on day one. I think it's cooler to have a one and only player like Donk, rather than have a new Donk show up every 6 months. I guess that's just the world we live in though, with such a good academy systems now. Plus, I'm not a fan of Falcons as an org. So anyways, I was watching the new Falcons lineup, hate watching. On map 2, Mirage, Kyosuke led Falcons with a 20 and 18 scoreline, 91 ADR, and a 1.23 HLTV rating in a close loss 13-11. Falcons barely lost this one. It was a close game due to some rough performances all around. On map 3, he performed even better, going 22 and 13 for a 1.70 rating. And on that map, Falcons also lose. So surely those 22 frags should have had some impact to get more than 7 rounds on the board, right? So I started thinking, what's a statistic I can use to more accurately hate on Kyosuke and Falcons? So I'd like to introduce you to EKR, or Ethical Kill Rating. EKR is a simple ratio. It's the number of kills achieved with a rifle against other rifling or opping players versus their total number of kills. Another facet of EKR is that it doesn't include any eco frags, exit frags, or any pistol or op kills. This is only kills with a rifle against pure weapons that actually result in a round win. Any kills in lost rounds don't count. So with this, I'm trying to see whether someone is stat padding or actually putting in the work down the stretch of a half to win the game with superior rifle work. Let's have a look at Kyosuke's Mirage versus Furia. A 1.23 rating, he put up a good effort, but just barely couldn't get his team over the line. You might look at this game and Nico and Kixan for not putting up just a few more kills that could have turned things around. But let's look at how many rifle kills against full buys Kyosuke got during this game that resulted in a round win.
There's that under control, trapping Yakinda in mid, beating the Molotov. Kyosuke coming for the kills.
Got Keiserato trapped.
Boost up to find Keiserato, and Kyosuke's got it. Oh, obviously it would make noise dropping it back in apartment. So, yeah, you can't have your cake and egg flank.
And he's trying to make a round-winning play right here. Kyosuke with the backstab makes noise. Needs these both.
Oh, 6. Okay, that's a 0.3 EKR. Alright. On the other side of the studio, Keiserato was off on a slow start to this map. However, take a look at his ridiculous T-side. He got 16 kills this half, and from my count, 8 of them are ethical. So that's already a 0.5 EKR, which beats Kyosuke's whole game is just one half. And you can feel the impact of these kills. Falcons are losing most of their guns and are forced to save the next round, or have a weird buy that doesn't give them the utility they want. Some players are on MP9s, that kind of thing. You might be saying, alright, that's just one map. Surely Superstar Rifler Kyosuke has some real impact on a map like Dust 2, for example. Remember, 22 and 13, 1.70 rating on HLTV. How many kills of his 22 did he get that fit that ethical description?
With the footsteps. He knows they're encircling him. There is that trade. Nico out.
1. That's a 0.045 EKR. Most of Kyosuke's kills this map come from the pistol, ecos, and opping. He got an ace in the pistol from going beast mode on the Behold. He mopped up a couple eco rounds. He got plenty of early op kills. But remember, this metric is kills that resulted in a round win. And after an insane CT side where he went 20 and 5, he only got 2 kills the rest of the map. And Furious players, time and time again, through this match, clawed back man deficits and won important clutches. So was this performance by Kyosuke a good rifling performance? I'd say it wasn't. It's more of a star opper's performance. This loss is not all Kyosuke's fault. Again, NiKo really struggled with a .69 rating, his worst ever at Cologne. However, I do still think it's interesting to look at EKR in games where only one player is popping off. For instance, here's Donk versus Aurora on Nuke.
We'll open up the door and get the kill onto Xpla. That drop.
Oh, the blows open a hole in the smoke.
But hold on, Donk continues to make play. He's right, it's on the scene. Now it's Donk.
But if it's an execution on towards this A side, you're gonna have to get past him.
In towards Mini right now. Donk in a curious position. Turns the flash, still though, and he gets another. One taps Madger. Donk running forward, wanting to claim this kill, and he does.
It's looking likely that they can claim this one.
Yeah, it's Donk again on the A site once more. Here's another headshot for him. Standing in front of the smoke, being such a nuisance.
Okay.
And ripping this right away from them with another triple kill. Side run. Shiro gets to shoot as well. The Lanxess right around the corner, just 4 kills away, and Donk knows it. Donk wants it, and there's another. Donk 31 kills. This is insane performances from Donk. He'll be playing in front of the Lanxess arena.
12 out of 21 kills on the CT side were against other rifling players. They have every ability to shoot back, but Donk is just completely owning them, out-positioning them, out-aiming them, everything. This is a .57 EKR half from Donk, and Aurora only got one T-side round because Donk was perfectly positioned on most rounds to counter their map control and executes. Watching these two performances back-to-back, it's easy to see which one was more impactful to winning. Now Kyosuke has even said himself that he doesn't think he's the next Donk. However, he is supposed to be the new star on Falcons, and if that new star isn't having that much impact, it can be easy to scapegoat other players for poor performances off numbers alone. NiKo and m0NESY are both definitely to blame for the loss here, but what does Falcon management care about that when they're probably some of the most expensive signings of all time? I guess it's time for minus TeSeS plus Donk. Surely that's what we need to win in Big 2025. Kyosuke put up big numbers, but how many of those kills show that he is having the impact of a star rifler when they needed it most? The best game I watched from this day in Cologne when looking out for EKR is a 17-10 performance from Mattis on Ancient versus 3D Max. Of those 17, 12 were against other full bot players, meaning he had a 70.5% ethical rifling performance. That's 15.6 times better than Kyosuke on Dust 2. When a rifler has a high EKR, we can see that they're consistently winning fights in full gun rounds that have an impact on the game, not just exit frags or farming ecos. Based off eye test alone, I'd say players like Zontex have a pretty good EKR on average. The body shot GOAT tends to get his 1-2 on a sight hold and is never really hunting for ecos or secondary opping or anything like that. I watched Furia qualify. Ykinder had a crazy impact with his entries in certain rounds, but he's also the type of guy who's more ready to give up the rifle for utility, so his EKR was driven down by some MP9 rounds, that kind of thing on the maps that I watched. So the next time you're watching a quote-unquote star rifler, don't just check their KD or HLTV rating. If they have a low EKR, they might not be the only reason that their team won that day, and it's likely someone else was stepping up a lot during the buy rounds with some crazy holds. If they're shooting ethically, then you're probably seeing them have really high impact from the eye test already. So what do you think about EKR? Who do you predict is actually the most ethical player? If I get a chance to sift through some match data, I could probably check it out pretty easily in Excel, but I don't have access to that right now. So I guess for now, I'll just have to keep hate watching. Thanks.